You're here with us on the Singer's Success Path podcast, where we talk about all things building a career with our voices without having to set foot on a stage. I'm Kimara Morel. Today we had Krysta Youngs on the show. Krysta is an incredible example of an artist and songwriter with a diverse portfolio of music revenue streams, from writing Billboard #1s to leading writing camps and teaching music business courses, releasing sample packs. She seems to do it all. We had a super inspiring and mind-expanding conversation about her experiences in Korea and writing for BTS and what she learned on her way to building a sustainable music career. Let's get into it. All right, welcome. We have the incredibly creative human Krysta Youngs here. It's an honor to have you on the show. I forgot to tell you, I have a remix for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a remix for you because you just released your song No Fucks Era.
Yes.
Baby, I'm in my no fucks era. Bitch, I'm Chimera.
I love that.
Did I get the melody right? That shit is so
Yeah,
catchy.
you did. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, you've done some pretty incredible things in your career, from becoming a platinum certified songwriter, #1 on Billboard, to releasing your own artist projects. And I was listening to your new single and I saw you have 200,000 monthly listeners and like millions and millions of streams. That's amazing. And you do that unsigned. You're unsigned, all independent. I just think that's amazing.
Thank you.
You've obviously done a lot of songwriting in the majors world. You've done a lot of stuff in K-pop. I'm trying to count your different music revenue streams. You've got a few packs on Splice, sample packs. You're
Sync
gigging
stuff.
on Sound Better.
Yeah.
What
Sync.
else?
I do a lot of sync stuff as well.
Sync stuff.
Oddly enough, I do a lot of children's toy commercials.
Okay.
So weird, like Walmart TV commercials.
I can see how your voice would fit that.
It's a lot of smiling. Like when you're recording, it's a lot of this,
That works, yeah. And you've been a mentor, you've been a coach, you've done some courses. You have a course on writing for K-pop,
Studio.com.
the music industry.
Yeah. And then I do a lot of songwriting camps as well. So I started my company, the House of Creativity, a couple years ago, and we've had 2 songwriting camps, and we're planning more for this upcoming year. My goal would be to do at least 2 a year. So
awesome. I wanted to ask you about the K-pop stuff. The Singer Success Path community, we pretty much always exclude the world of writing for famous people, and we are mostly doing remote stuff. So I was just wondering, what are some of the major differences that you see in the world of writing for American major artists versus writing for K-pop artists?
I think just for K-pop, there's just more of everything. So my vocal production is a lot more with K-pop than it is normally. There's a lot more melodies in K-pop. It depends though, certain different labels operate differently, right? So SM, even though when I've gone to camps in Korea, it's been a lot more of that, a lot more vocal production, all of that stuff. But then when I've submitted songs for pitch to SM, it's usually songs that I've written for American artists that just haven't been placed yet. So it's really interesting. And then with Hybe, it's they send me tracks, I top line them. Again, it's very,
are these
very
labels? What is SM and Hybe?
SM, Hybe, and JYP are the 3 main labels and major labels in Korea that I work with. So Hybe has BTS, TXT, JYP has Twice, SM has Taeyeon, it's just, so I work with those 3 the most.
Okay. Do you feel like the pitching process is way different over there than it is over here?
Kind of. So with SM, I had a friend that was an A&R over there. We became really good friends because I went to Korea 3 times, and we became really good friends. So he would always hit me up and be like, I need this, I need this, I need this. And then he'd kind of go to bat for me, which was really nice because I had that personal relationship with him. I mean, obviously he liked the song, but he knew me, so he wanted me to win as well. As far as Hybe, which is BTS's label, they're always sending me tracks. So I don't really pitch songs to them that I've written outside of what they're sending me. So that's been easier because I already have an approved track that's been produced by one of their in-house producers that I'm writing to. So for me, I feel like the chance of getting a placement with that type of like interaction is a lot more, it's a lot
Yeah.
easier, but it's not because I've gotten like 4 or 5 or 6
It's
placements
still
out of
high
like
competition because they're sending that one track to like multiple writers, right?
but
Oh my
at
God.
least I have like somewhat of a starting point, you know,
Absolutely. Like as opposed to just like trying to even, submit your
randomly send them
song, get
something.
your song heard by anyone. I feel like in the
Like I know they're
US,
gonna listen. Sorry, they're absolutely gonna listen to it, and that's the difference. Like I know that when I send them something, they're actually gonna listen to it. And then in the US, when you send people songs, it's like, did they listen to it? Have they even heard it? Like, you know, so
mm, yeah. Do I know you? How did you get my email? It's
exactly
rough.
like who
I
are
feel
you?
like in the US, it seems like what we've discovered, I think I've had a lot of conversations with different people about this, is that to get a major placement, you know, 90% of the time, probably you have to be like actually in the room co-writing with the artist. Do you think that's pretty accurate?
I think it helps, but I
Hmm.
also think that if you have like really good relationships with their management, they'll go to bat for you too.
They'll play
Like
something.
kind of. I mean, it really depends. Like I've been friends with Dre London, which is who's Post Malone's manager for years, right? And like we have like an ongoing, like every couple months we text each other. And I sent him this song that I did that I really love, just out of the blue. And he's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I'm doing a movie. Maybe I'll use the song in the movie." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So it's like when you have relationships with those people, maybe that's not being placed with an artist, but it would be me as the artist, then you have this like rapport and this communication with that person or those people where they're like, "Oh, I really like what you do," or, "We need this kind of song for this person. Can you send something over?" So there's already like a level of trust that's been built
Yeah.
between the two, where when I'm cold emailing people, I'm not getting responses back because they already have their friends that they're working with. So who am I, you know?
Hmm. You made me think about something else too. You may write a song and have a dream for it. Like you want this song to do a certain thing, like go to a certain artist or whatever, but you kind of have to be open-minded and just allow, whatever open door, the song can go through. Cause like you said, you thought, maybe you wanted to write a song for a certain artist, but then it ends up you're the artist and it's in a movie now. And like that's still pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Or it
I
ends
mean
up
that's
in China.
yeah. I just feel like a song will find its home. I don't really feel like it's up to us as creatives to really like be so glued into like this one place that we want it to be. Like kind of just like let it find its home.
But do you think there's some kind of a give and take with regard to writing for what people will probably want? If you're writing a song and you kind of imagine it going to K-pop world, you know that there's a specific style of vocal production that they like, a certain style of writing that tends to work. Do you keep that in mind, or do you feel like that's more of like a boxed in way of thinking and just write from the heart?
You know, I don't know anymore because I used to think that like when I was writing for K-pop, it should be for K-pop. But then like the last single that I just released yesterday, that was did we write it for K-pop? I don't remember. No, it wasn't, but I was like, this sounds really K-poppy.
Hmm.
And I actually went back in and redid the verses because it was too K-pop for me and I wanted to pitch it to
Okay.
like artists in the US. But
Yeah.
then I ended up keeping it because I loved it so much. But then people still tell me that it kind of sounds like K-pop. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know anymore.
It
I
might
don't
just
know
be
anymore.
it might just be that you're just so versed in a certain style that it can't help but come through. Like I feel like my earlier years in songwriting were so like focused on try to write a hit song, top 40, American top 40, like try to write songs like that. And over time, once I finally threw that out the window and stopped thinking about it, I accidentally wrote that way anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's
The
kind of
worst. Yeah, that was the
ingrained.
worst time. I think that's like when everyone lands in LA for the first 2 years, you just are like meeting new people for the first time. And they're like, especially when I worked over at Atlantic a lot, it was like, that's not a hit, do it again. Do that. That's not a hit.
Yeah.
And then I would just be like a machine. Like just, okay, well, what do they want? What do they want? Like I gotta write what they want. And it was never what they wanted. And then
Hmm.
like, the song that I wrote with DQ is like one of the guy at Atlantic's favorite song. And it was like, I wasn't even, it was started as a joke. It's called Drunk Sex. And it literally started off as a joke. And DQ was like, this is amazing. And we just wrote it and it was funny and it was fun. And that's become like the favorite song over there. So it's like trying to write something that's a hit. I just feel like is just the worst possible thing anybody could do.
It's pretty heartbreaking. I mean, you didn't give up. I actually did.
No, you didn't. You didn't give up. You just changed the way that
I gave up on trying to work with major labels. I just don't even want to anymore. Like, I don't even want to risk like putting myself in a stressful situation like that. Like, but I do feel like because I did that so much, that style of writing is still in me. And I think what I'm realizing right now is that maybe I actually wasn't authentic. When I was trying to write hits, nothing about it was authentic, but I practiced enough that once I stopped trying to write hits, they start my authentic songs start sounding like hits.
People want the truth. I think that should be a book. I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
How not to write hit songs.
How not to write hit songs.
Yeah.
And I know. Stop trying.
Yeah.
The moral of today's story is stop trying to do anything that you think you're supposed to do and just do whatever.
Don't write hit songs and then they become hit songs.
Yeah. By the way, I have to say this. It's a big deal to me that you're here, not only because you're like an example of a singer on her success path, but do you know that you played kind of a big role in my story? I don't know if you actually know this, but the first time I ever heard of soundbetter.com was through one of our mutual friends who said, oh, Krysta's been on this website getting hired to like write songs and demo sing and Melodyne, and she's making money. And do you know
it?
I think it was DQ actually.
Okay.
Do you know what my reaction was though? I think I need to call myself out on this because I think a lot of other musicians have this same limiting thought. I thought, well, I can't do that. I can't go make money on a website. That sounds like selling out.
I never felt like that. But I didn't feel like that because I was doing that before Sound Better came into being. Like I was literally going on Craigslist and being like, who wants top lines and vocals?
Yeah.
I just got so sick of being broke.
Yeah.
And
what do you have to say to people who might still have that mindset? Like, I'm the artist, I'm trying to be the next Beyonce, so I can't just like sell my voice.
People can be many things at once. Like someone is a daughter and a mother and a wife and a, singer, and you can be many things at the same time. You can be an artist and you can still write for other people, or you can still be featured on different songs. And like, not every song I do, not a lot of songs I do on Sound Better are on my main page. I have to really connect with like the entire song in order for me to like put it on like on my Spotify. But like, I'll be a feature because I'm doing something for you, right? So like, I'm trying to complement your track, and maybe it's not something that I, think is great for my artist career, but I'll still do it. Honestly, it just allows you the freedom to work on your stuff as an artist. Like, why wouldn't you want to make money so you could like invest it back into yourself and do what you want to do? Because you're doing stuff anyway that you don't want to be doing, whether it's like, working at a coffee shop or driving Uber or whatever. So you might as well use your talent to make money so you can invest in yourself and then create the songs that you want for you. Not every song is for you.
Yeah.
So I have no problem writing for other people and using my voice on. I'm just a music whore. So
love it.
Maybe I'll do it.
Yeah. I think that for me and for a lot of others, it's just an emotional, and maybe it's like a pride battle, an ego thing, that we are so attached to our big goals and our voice being like ours only. But I got to tell you, like, when I finally, decided to not be broke anymore and actually like go for it, and I started getting paid, I was like, okay, this is a lot better than what I was doing before. So,
well, and now you've made more money on Sound Better than me. You're just like, no, and it's crazy
because I was still a 30-year-old waitress, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, and so once I finally, decided, okay, I'm in, I was like, I'm all in. I'm going to hustle this and I'm going to make a career out of it.
You've actually, I think that Sound Better, when I first started it, I used it as a practice platform, right? So like I was
Hmm.
writing 2 or 3 songs a day and I was getting paid to practice. And so after like, because I've been writing songs every day for over 10 years. And so
Hmm.
when you start to do that every day, you realize that like you get really good at tapping into the place inside of you or like whatever is, your higher power coming through you. And it doesn't become like a let me wait to get inspired. It's like you just
Hmm.
kind of know how to get inspired. So you sit down and you do it and it comes out. And then when that happens over like a decade, you're like, oh, I can just tap into this whenever I want.
Yeah. Writer's block like doesn't exist. It's a myth, right?
I mean, I think it does sometimes, but then I know now where I didn't 10 years ago to just get up and go for a walk. Like I'm
Hmm.
not gonna put my head against a wall trying to finish a line. Like if I can't do it today, okay, cool. Like I don't think about it as writer's block. I just am like, okay, I've obviously had enough. And then I come
Yeah.
back the next day and it just comes and I'm like, cool. And I know that about
Right.
myself because I had,
Practice. Yeah.
decades for doing that. And a lot of it was sound better. A lot of it was,
Mm,
but I mean, and sessions and working with different people and different personalities and like trying
that's
to figure
awesome.
out those personalities with clients and like who to steer clear from on Sound Better because you just pick up a vibe and who you're like, oh, this person's a cool person to work with.
Yeah. Can you remember like a big moment early on when you maybe for the first time received compensation for music? Something like that.
Yeah,
What was that like?
surprising. So I was in Boston. I graduated from Berkeley. I was there for a couple more years. I was in a wedding band and a cover band. And my mom called me one day and I've been thinking about trying to get out of there and moving to Nashville. She called me and she was like, you have a check from ASCAP. And I was like, ugh, just throw it away. Like they were like 2 cents, 3 cents at the time.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't think you want me to throw this one away. It's for 13 grand. And I'm like, from
Woo.
what? I still don't know what that's from. I honestly think they made a mistake. I called ASCAP like 3 times.
Stop.
I was like, where did this come from? And nobody could tell me. And I was like, okay, God, thank you. Took the money, moved to Nashville. And I was like, good. That was crazy. I still have no idea where that came from. Not a clue.
Last time we hung out, I think we said something like sync is like the best opportunity for the universe to play tricks on us and send
Yeah.
us lots of money when we when we need it.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I know that is really big to you is knowing your value. Like
Yeah.
the Krysta Young store is like the Versace store of music services, not Walmart, you know? So what would you like to say to singers listening on this subject? Why is this so important to treat your service this way?
Because I feel like when you don't, you feel bad about yourself. And then when you feel bad about yourself, then the vibration you put out into the world doesn't attract what you want. But I
Mm.
also think it's important to say that, like, I think that I'm worth a certain amount of money. And I've had to learn, even over the past like year with the economy and all of those things, that I have to be flexible if I want to work,
Hmm.
which is still something I'm trying to kind of like come to terms with because it's really frustrating for me when I'm like, this is the amount that I want. And some people are like, but this is the amount I can pay. And I'm like, okay, if it
Hmm.
doesn't make me feel really bad to do that, and I'm like, I get it, fine, then I'll
Hmm.
do it. But I've kind of been a little off my manifestation shit. So I got to get back on it. But yeah, it's an ebb and flow of self-worth, right? It's like
Mm.
sometimes you wake up and you're like, okay, like I could do it for this amount of money. And then other days you're like, I would never do that unless this amount of money. So I think it just kind of changes, as you
Yeah.
change.
Market price.
Yeah. Or
Totally.
you do like the things that you've been doing and you're like, okay, so this area of the music business is allowing me to make X amount of money. So
Hmm.
maybe I don't want to focus all my time on that. Maybe I want to create a course and I want to put that out there and do
Yeah.
that, spend my time investing in that part of the business for a while, and then maybe come back over here and do this?
You know,
So
that's another reason I love like diversifying the portfolio is just because it like keeps your mind fresh. Like
yeah,
singing cover songs every day, it can wear on you, but then like you take a whole month and you just work on your course, or you take a whole month and you just work on your own songs or something you're creating something different all the time. It like kind of keeps your mind fresh, right?
totally.
Hmm.
100%. And then it just Yeah, and then it doesn't get boring, or frustrating. I think more
Yeah.
important, it doesn't get frustrated because you're like, I'm not seeing what I want here, so let me go over here and try this. And also something that's been really interesting for me over the years is like, what do I want that's lacking? Right. So for me, before Sound Better, it was like, I want to make money writing songs. So how do I do that? Okay, I'll post on Craigslist. And then Sound Better came along, right? And so now we don't make as much money with Spotify royalties. So how can we increase our revenue stream? We can do classes, we can do sync. Like it's just a constant, like, how can we work this out in our favor where we can do things and we can create things and build businesses that generate income so we can be happy.
Yes. We didn't go into music because we wanted to be bored. So
No, no. We didn't go into music to be broke either. And I think that's a really big misconception for people. Like, oh, like I didn't go to school for music because there's no money. Well, yeah, there is. There's money in music. If there wasn't money in music, people wouldn't be rich.
Yeah.
Now, do they become billionaires from making music? No, but once they have their millions from making music, then they do like, they have their perfume line and they have their makeup line and they have this and they have that and like they diversify. So
yeah. Why do you think we haven't had a new Rihanna album in a while?
Right.
Because Fenty Beauty made her a billionaire. She doesn't feel like doing albums anymore.
But nobody would have bought Fenty Beauty if she wasn't Rihanna first.
Yeah. So it's all about just like continuously expanding and just seeing what happens. Like you said about just let a song do its thing. Let your career do it.
I don't mind failing. I don't mind failing because it's like information for what works and what doesn't.
Totally.
So I'll try whatever if I believe in it. And if it fails, okay, cool. Why did it fail? What could I do better? How can I improve that? Should I just let it go and try something else? Like,
Absolutely. Just keep collecting data, keep refining. And
getting used to no's.
Oh, so used to that now. I feel like I've gotten really like strong, like emotionally and mentally because I'm just so used to expect it to be a no until it's a yes. Then we get to celebrate and I'm a lot happier that way.
Yeah. I mean, no is just like, who knows? Okay, you said no, who knows who's going to say yes?
Yeah. So many times we write a song for a specific reason. It doesn't go through, but then it does something else. So
100%.
Yeah. That's so cool. Well, this has been such a great talk. I definitely want to like keep it going. So hopefully we can bring you back on the show sometime soon. But how can our listeners catch up with you, follow you, listen to your music?
I'm the only Krysta Youngs in the world. Like, so you can just Google my name, but it's KrystaYoungs.com, or you can hop over to the House of Creativity. It's HAUS, houseofcreativity.com, and that has or will have information about my upcoming course with my lawyer, Josh Dreon, upcoming camps, all of that stuff. So
amazing. I can't wait to come to one of your House of Creativity camps.
Love that.
That would be super fun.
I'll keep you posted.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Krysta.
Thanks for
Congrats on the recent single that's stuck in my head. I'm going to put out an official remix.
Amazing. You should. Please do. Please post it on TikTok.
All right. Catch up soon. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, thanks again for watching. Real quick, if you could subscribe and like, that would be epic. Again, in the description below are links to some free resources, and I think you'll really like this video next.